The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Orla stepped forward, her boots echoing against the crystalline floor. Around her, representatives from 47 species occupied their designated platforms, their forms ranging from the gaseous Valorians to the massive silicon-based Krathor, all eyes, or their equivalents, fixed upon the human delegation. "You cannot be serious," High Chancellor Vexthor rumbled, his four-armed frame leaning forward in disbelief. "Humans, we summoned you here to discuss your application for military alliance. Instead, you bring those." Behind Orla, a transport container hummed softly. Inside, barely visible through the transparent walls, thousands of small creatures moved in organized patterns. "These," Orla said calmly, "are our answer to your swarm problem." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of sounds. Clicking mandibles, burbling protests, and electromagnetic pulses of derision. The swarm had been ravaging outer colonies for 3 cycles, an unstoppable tide of insectoid warriors that consumed everything in their path. The Council had lost 12 worlds. Fleets had been decimated. And now, humanity, the newest species to achieve faster-than-light travel, proposed salvation through creatures barely larger than a council member's smallest appendage. Adam, Orla's military advisor, activated the holographic display. "Members of the council, what you're looking at are Terran ants, specifically a hybrid species we've bioengineered over the past 18 months. "Ants?" The Zilonian ambassador's translator rendered her incredulity perfectly. "We've reviewed your data files. These creatures are primitive, numerous, yes, but ultimately insignificant." "That's what the swarm thought too," Orla replied, a slight smile playing at her lips. "Until we introduced them to colony designation, New Hope." The hologram shifted, showing a verdant world under assault. Swarm ships descended like metallic locusts, their warriors pouring onto the surface. The colonists, a mix of Grathari farmers and Pollux miners, had already begun evacuating. By all projections, the world would be stripped bare within days. 3 weeks ago," Adam continued, "we deployed 200 million modified ants across New Hope's 3 major continents. The colonists thought we were insane. They demanded immediate military intervention instead." The hologram accelerated, compressing days into seconds. The swarm warriors established their hive nests, began their consumption cycle. Then something changed. Swarm warriors stumbled, fell, convulsed. Their organic processors, the neural clusters that coordinated their hive mind, began failing. "What are we witnessing?" Vexthor demanded. "Chemical warfare," Orla answered. "Terran ants communicate through pheromones, build colonies through cooperation, and defend through coordinated assault. We enhance these traits. These ants produce a compound specifically targeting the swarm's neural chemistry. It's airborne, waterborne, and most importantly, it spreads through contact." The hologram showed ants marching into swarm nests, completely ignored by the warriors. Why would apex predators concern themselves with creatures so small? By the time the swarm realized the danger, the ants had infiltrated every nest, every ship, every warrior cluster. In 72 hours, New Hope was free, Adam said quietly. The swarm fleet attempted to retreat. They carried the ants with them. The council chamber had gone deathly still. "You weaponized an entire species," the Valorian representative breathed. "The ethical implications are less concerning than extinction," Orla interrupted. "We didn't enslave them. We partnered with them. In exchange for protection and resources, the ant colonies work with us. They're intelligent enough to understand cooperation, small enough to infiltrate anywhere, and numerous enough to overwhelm any defense. This is biological warfare on an unprecedented scale," Vexthor protested, but his voice had lost its certainty. "This is survival," Orla countered. "You've thrown your greatest fleets against the swarm. You've sacrificed millions, And still, they advance. Humans understand something you've forgotten. Size doesn't determine victory. Strategy does. Adaptation does. Adam pulled up comparative data. The swarm has conquered 47 species in 200 years. On Earth, ants have survived for 140 million years. They've outlasted dinosaurs, ice ages, and mass extinctions. They adapt. They endure. They win. And if these ants turn on us? Another counselor asked. If they evolve beyond your control? Orla had expected this question. We've installed genetic limiters. These colonies cannot reproduce without specific enzyme triggers we provide. More importantly, ants are territorial. We've established mutually beneficial relationships with over 3,000 colony queens. They protect human worlds. We ensure their survival and expansion. It's symbiosis, not slavery. The High Chancellor's claws tapped against his console. You're asking us to trust creatures we dismissed as insignificant. I'm asking you to recognize that humans survived on a death world by learning one critical lesson, Orla said, her voice carrying throughout the chamber. The most dangerous allies are often the smallest ones, the ones everyone else overlooked. She gestured to the container. Ants build colonies housing 50 million individuals. They farm, wage war, take slaves, and create complex societies. They're Earth's most successful organisms by biomass. And now, they're humanity's partners. What do you propose? Vexthor asked finally. Give us access to the 3 most threatened worlds, Adam said. Let us deploy the colonies. If we fail, you lose nothing you wouldn't have lost anyway. If we succeed, Orla finished. The Council gains an ally that thinks differently, fights differently, and survives differently than anyone else in this chamber. Humans didn't reach the stars through strength alone. We did it through partnership with thousands of species on our world. Dogs, horses, bacteria, plants. We learned to work with them, not just dominate them. The council members exchanged glances, communications passing between them in languages and mediums humans were still learning to understand. Finally, Vexthor spoke. The Council will grant humanity provisional access to one world, designation Kelmar 4. If your allies approve effective, we will discuss further integration. Orla bowed respectfully. You won't regret this decision, Chancellor. As the human delegation left the chamber, Adam whispered to Orla. Think they understand yet? Understand what? She replied, smiling. That humans didn't just bring ants as allies. We brought the philosophy that made humanity successful. Never underestimate anything, no matter how small. Behind them, in their transport container, 3,000 ant queens prepared for deployment. They would spread across Kelmar 4, build their colonies, and do what ants had done for millions of years. They would survive. They would adapt. They would conquer. And the swarm, for all its terror and might, would learn what every predator on Earth had learned eventually. The tiny and harmless are often neither.